So here are, okay, you're all there? Okay, great. So here are some of the samples that I've made so far with these brushes. And of course, they're using the color blending technique. All of you guys tuning in, I'm sure, are very familiar. So if you're not, I have the link down below. But I'm just going to go through some of these brushes. And obviously, where the inspiration was marble, and that I used that texture at the base of all of the brushes. And really just, honestly, when I was making these, I was just experimenting, playing around, grabbing some old brushes even as a starting point, just having a lot of fun. And I really love how these brushes look when they're layered up. I think that is the real beauty of them. And yeah, I have so many things I want to tell you. So what else was I going to say? Yeah, the layering brushes. Oh, really quick. So if you are a Behance subscriber, if you're subscribed to me on Behance, you can go to this live stream, and it's attached to this live stream right now. Um, Although I can't really show you right here. Or you can go over to my work page and go to the January thing, and then attached to that is the early access folder. So I put them in there. And then if you are subscribed on Patreon, you can get these brushes in the early access folder. And I have put that in the last post. So I'm just going to go through and show you some of these brushes and show you some of the layering things that we can do. These are a few samples that I made, and I just had a lot of fun with this. But most of these are like 3 or 4 layers, I would say. And also included in the download is some color blends, which I made with by sampling some marbles, just for some classic sort of marble looks. So I've got the color blends here, and those are nice, gentle sort of marble things, but don't feel like you just have to use marble colors. I think these would go amazing with all of the jewel color blends that I made. And I'm going to show you how to like cross over the jewel collections and the jewel layer styles with these brushes and create some really, really, really cool stone effects that I think are going to be really amazing. And it's cool because you can make like your own marble sort of inspired stuff, but with your own colors, do your own thing, just be like really crazy with it. And also, even the iridescent brush palettes could look really cool with this. So I'm going to maybe sample some of those. And then also, I just created some new colorful palettes, and I put them there. Oh my God, I'm so burpy today. I don't know what it was I ate. Actually, I know what it is. I had this broccoli dish, and I suspicion that that was it. I had that just before I went on, so I'm like super burpalicious. But yeah, so I got these colorful palettes that I made, and actually I used this colorful palette in my demo file here to create this really soft look, and I really like that. I am not necessarily known for my like soft, delicate things. I like a lot of bold stuff, but with this, I think it's fun. So I'm just gonna just demo some of the brushes here. Let me just group this. And let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else that I need to tell you about these brushes. But I'm going to go ahead and grab one of the marble palettes. Oh, and another thing though is I would love to hear from you guys that are that have access to these brushes. Like if there's any brushes maybe that, because that's a beta collection, it's my first sort of step. So if there's any brushes that you're like, don't love this, or maybe skip from the collection, or any kind of feedback, feel free to message me directly anytime. I will love to hear it. That's what makes this kind of fun, is that you guys can, give your feedback, have some fun with them before everybody else. So just to make this fun, I'm going to grab one of the, actually, no, I'm going to grab a colorful palette. So this is brush number 1, marble. And of course I have the pressure sensitivity on all the brushes. But if you are using a mouse and you want a lighter effect, because say if I'm using my mouse, let me just grab my mouse. Um, you know, it's going to look a little bit bolder like that. You can control that, have some kind of control similar to the like a pen tablet with the flow. So just click up here and take the flow down. So you can have a little bit of more control like that. And then you can just left bracket to lower the size or right bracket to make it bigger. So that can give you a bit more control. But of course, I'm demoing these brushes on with the pen tablet with my trusty Wacom tablet. And as you can see, you've got those beautiful marble sort of veins in there and that soft sort of watercolor, you know, accent there. And then of course, if you keep, you know, brushing, you can essentially fill that in. So, you know, you can play with that and then maybe make a new layer, and even you could change your color palette and use the same brush on top of it, layer those up, have some fun, be crazy with it. Let's see here. So here's brush number 2. This is also watercolory, but a little bit like has a bit wet, more wet. And one little thing that I would tell you guys, if you are working within, say, a different document dimension, maybe you're working in a bigger document or something like that, um, and this pattern is a bit too small for you, you can always adjust them if you want. You can go into your brush settings. If you don't see it, go to window brush settings, go into the texture, and here I have my scale of my texture is 100%. But you can put that up or down. And honestly, even if you take that texture up, you know, normally we don't want to upsize things, but even if you take that texture up, you can, it still looks great. So, oh, it's so pretty, that brush. I love it. I'm so happy with these. I can't wait. I'm like such a nerd. Okay, so this is the brush number 3. And what I like about this is I played around with the dual brush, and I put the linear height, which gives it this sort of like wet effect. And it's just like it's almost like a splashes of water. And I love to see it dance as I paint. So that's a lot of fun. And then here's number 4. And this one is number 5, so this has like really, you know, like kind of more contrast. Here, I'll put this in a lighter color. But, you know, sometimes you want some of those harsh lines like that. So this is fun for layering. And, you know, you can push down more, but this one is a bit more random. And then let's look at number 6. This is super soft, but we're getting those beautiful, you know, lines in there, and a very not too contrasty. So that's fun. Number 7 is the one that I'm not maybe the craziest about. I wanted one that had that kind of really strong line, because you could play with that, like maybe layering it under. But this one is not my favorite. I really tweaked a lot of these to make them really subtle, but sometimes, you know, like layering it might be cool. And also, like yesterday, I was working on the pattern, the texture pattern, which I created from images. But then I did a lot of manipulations and stuff. But if you were interested in how I create the textures and stuff for this brush, let me know, and I might give you some tips at the end of this video. So yeah, let me know. Okay, David, you think I should keep number 7? Okay, cool. I'm like, okay, whatever. Here's number 8, and I'm gonna pick one that has like some more colors, because I like to see the color changes. A lot of these blends are quite subtle, so when I use that colorful color palette, then you see the color changes more. And that's just the real key here, is having those beautiful multicolors that comes out. 9 has that sort of splattery effect using, when I do my dual brush, I have a linear height, and that makes the difference for that. And that one's a little bit more powerful. 10 is a soft brush. This one, you just have all these different ones. So I'm going to work on making a nice brush chart too. I know that that always helps, but I literally finished these today. So I was just like, I just got to get these done. I want to get on live today. I want to put these out into the world and let you guys have some fun with it. That one is just so pretty. I mean, oh my gosh. Uh, oh yeah, Sherry, cool. I might actually make that a separate one because I think it might be more appropriate to make it a separate live on like the process of building it, a process of building the brushes and the textures. I think that that would be better because it really is a whole separate thing rather than just using them. So I think I might do that. And this one is great when you want 12, if you want those beautiful lines, like say you're layering it on top of a background. This one will have just the lines. Yeah, I think it will be good as a new topic. And honestly, like, I don't want to, I, I mean, I do have some kinds of, what do you call it, a process, especially building the textures, but I will say that it is a lot of playing around and experimenting when I'm making these brushes. And I'm just really lucky that I can do that for a living, knock wood that it'll keep going. But I just love it. So this brush this one I'm totally crushing on. This one is super soft. And let's see what we got going on here. Number 15. And I might actually, like, all of these have even though all the brushes are different, they all have a sort of a base texture. They also have the same texture within the brush. But what I might do is I might, before I release them to the public, put a couple different textures in there. But really it's, yeah, it just might make a little bit of variety. This one I liked because it's kind of a contained brush, but I think, not everybody is going to want to do the same thing with these brushes. So, it just gives more variety or whatever. 18 is also a really splattery one. And I'm going to fly through these here, and then I'm going to get to kind of recreating some of the demo files that I did. And the demo files are available for the subscribers. This one is just to add some sharp lines in it. And then, hola, here's 20, loving it. 21 is, oh, some of these are like very watercolory, and those I think are my favorite. And you can just, should put it in a marble color so it looks like even more marbly. But I love those, love playing with the multicolor palette. This one, 22, is great to give you some lines. 23, let's grab some, and you can put something down, grab another one, put something. 23, let's hear 24. This one is really to add some lines. 25 is, I like a lot. If you push down, it's going to get really dramatic. And I think I use this one maybe no, I think I use this one maybe on this ruby one. But I'm going to show you the tricks that I used for those ones. 26 I really like, and then 27 too. I think those two are going to be very useful. So just all about, layering things up and having fun with it. Okay, so that's the 27 brushes. We've got the palettes, got the colorful palettes. And here I'm going to just show you this demo pastel. And in the demo file, this time I actually remembered how to, oh, thank you, Sherry. Blushing. Oh my gosh. I'm loving it. I'm like, oh, tell me more. No. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So these ones, this is just a few brush strokes, to be fair. but when you zoom in, like, I don't know if this is 100%, just the softness that is coming out here and this like blurry sort of texture, putting some of the softer ones on top of the harder ones and letting them come through. I think that's a lot of fun. And so I'm going to show you what I did on this one. So we've got one, we've got two, three, okay, so 4 layers. And let me just group these here. And let's see here, you know what? I'm going to put, so I'm going to leave up this on this side, and then I'll just do on here just so I can, let's see. Or no, maybe I'll just make a new document. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of fly through these because I don't want to take too much time. Let's duplicate these, duplicate layers to a new doco. And let's go 0. Let's see our 50%, window arrange, 2 up vertical. Okay, so this is my new one. Oh, I should just use my freaking scrap document. Okay, what am I doing here? What am I even doing with my life? Okay, so for this one, the first brush stroke that I did was here. So this is brush 2. So I got my pattern stamp and I grabbed actually this colorful color palette that I made rather than just a typical marble color. So I grabbed brush number 2 and then I just did a really soft light brush stroke like this. So that was that. And then let's see what I did next. So then I added the gold above it and okay, yeah. So I'll make a new layer and I'm gonna go ahead and I don't know what gold that I put on this, to be honest. I'll just put one of my raw gold layer styles. I'll just grab maybe 4, I don't know. My raw gold layer styles, I'll link those down below. And then I'm gonna grab brush 3 and that's the one that has that kind of splattery sort of effect. And then I just lightly kind of painted some strokes like that and added the little touch of gold, and I could flip through here and play with which gold I select. There's like gold 2, and I could, you know, add some more gold if I wanted. But I just added a touch of gold like that. So that's using that raw gold layer styles from the Celestial Gold Mine collection. So the Celestial Gold Mine layer styles collection is going to be really, really, really fun to play with these brushes. To play with these brushes and even add those Celestial Gold Mine layer stone layer styles. I think there could be a lot of fun with that. Yeah, so I won't take the time to go over to the browser and show you guys, but I'll link them down below, and most of you guys tuning in already are familiar with them. And so then I'm going to make a new layer above that, and then I just added in like white, so I went to actually my single color brush tool, and I think I grabbed brush number, it was 27, yeah. And this is a great one to add some lines. So I can just add a little bit of lines above that, and you can see that I did that here. So if I take this, you can see how I added a little extra texture. Yeah, Rhoda, yeah, I think that exactly, the space scenes and nebulas, I do think that they could be very cool for that. And even I played around with well, that ruby one on the ruby one is kind of like that sort of mashup. And even I grabbed some brushes from the Galaxy collection. So I think that, yeah, there's tons of crossover there. And I think it could be really fun. It's too much. And then what did I do? I think I had one more layer on here. 27, 3, that's brush 3. So we got the gold, we got that. And did I add and so what I did on this, this document here is I put I used another brush stroke, which I guess I used 25. But rather than just using the colors, although I could, I actually added like an aquamarine layer style. So I'm just going to do that over here. So I'm going to go over to my Celestial Goldmine layer styles, and I'm going to grab like this aquamarine 9 and go ahead and apply that to my layer. Okay, not that layer. Let's see here. Edit. Okay, not that layer, Jessica. Let me undo that. Okay, cut. All right. So I've just made a blank layer and I've applied the aquamarine, and now I can grab my any of my brushes, I guess. And honestly, I don't know them well enough yet to tell you in advance which one. Hold on. I'm like, I got to make that brush chart for myself. Here, it doesn't really matter what color I'm brushing in because I've already applied the layer style to it. But this is that aquamarine. And as I'm brushing that on with this, we're getting that beautiful soft aquamarine layer style. Let me brush it on in brown so we can see this just a little bit better. So if I turn that off, we can see that. But when we add that gorgeous aquamarine, so we can have a lot of fun with those layer styles even. So, you know, play around with that. Or you could go, here's some of that aquamarine layer style. And it just depends on how much surface area you're working with. Because you can also take this brush. Let's see, which brush was I working? Brush number 20. I can go to my pattern stamp tool, and even I can get one of my aquamarine palettes, like this one. Let me grab the right brush here, brush 18. And, brush with that. I could use the same one that I did here. But to be honest, I think the aquamarine layer styles in this case looks better than using the brush palette. So lots of options, but definitely keep those crystal layer styles in mind with these brushes because because marble is a crystal. And so I think it'll be really appropriate to use some of those. Oh gosh, now I gotta show you. Creators Couture, what is it? Celestial. Here we go. Celestial Goldmine layer styles. So these are just going to be absolutely, these layer styles and these gold are going to be absolutely magic to be using with these brushes. And, some of those, what do you call it? All that sort of thing. So I think that the Galaxy brushes, the Galaxy color palettes, the Celestial Goldmine, all these are kind of rock and crystal sort of oriented. And I think that they're just can be great mashups and great crossovers. So sometimes you might want to put the brush, this is like using the multicolor brush. We've got the gold layer styles, and then we're using like the aquamarine, adding that as a layer style with the brush rather than worrying about the multicolor. But it just can all work together and create some really magical things. Hey, Patrick, glad that you could join us. Glad to see you. All right, so that's enough on this one. And honestly, I'm like, I definitely am going to be needing that flippin' a brush chart real soon for me to see, understand anything here. Now this one, I'm just going to kind of peel back the layers and show you. I mixed up a couple color palettes, but I love that cloudy effect that I got with that. And let's just peel back the layers and see how this one is going. And it's actually, when I was just playing with it, when I'm halfway through, I really didn't think that it would turn out good. And I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be good. This one's not going to work. But I got to trust the process. And finally, it worked out really fun. And I used I believe I used this purple layer, this colorful palette here even with that. So, to bring in something different rather than just the regular, what do you call it? The regular marble colors. So I'm just going to, let's see, this we didn't use. gonna hide that. So we've got the gold on top, 8. All right. And I actually built this up kind of consecutively or whatever. So first of all, I took brush 17 and I kind of filled it in here. And at first, I see this and I'm like, not loving this, not seeing it. No, not sure what's going to happen here, but I just continued to play. So this was using a light, this brush, and I used a light pressure. And then I used brush number 23 and just kind of filled it in. No, did I go here? You know what? I'm pretty sure I did this brush. So this is brush number 10, layering this, but I used one of these like a cream color palette from up here, like a typical marble. So I layered that up and I'm going, okay, cool, but that's brush number 10 and I marked that on the thing for you. But then I went in, and then, yeah, I'm just kind of showing you my process and how I built this up. So then I used brush number 8, and this one really has all those veins in it, but I went back to that purple color palette, that purple multicolor color palette. So I can just, show you that in action here. So I grabbed my pattern stamp tool, I grabbed the purple, I grabbed brush 8, and, just went over that. And there we go. We've got a cool, we're getting something built up there. And then I added a little bit of gold. So this is gold number, Celestial Gold Mine Gold 18, and it is the brush 32. So if I cut that, I've already got that gold 18 layer style. And so then I can just grab 32. I don't even think I have a 32. Maybe brush 3, I don't know. 18, maybe it was brush 18. Okay, let me just try brush 18, see if that's it. Because I'm like, wait, oh yeah, that's it. I don't have a brush 32. Tragic. So I've got that gold, applied to it. And this is just a nice one to splatter. And it doesn't matter what color palette you're using because we're just adding that gold in there. And so that's how I did that. Just adding up the layers, and it's starting to look good. And then of course you could flip through your different golds, or even like those are the golds. I could even go back to some of my old layer styles, like, I don't know, watercolor fantasies. Those ones, I think those could be really interesting with this. Or I don't know, some of the textile layers, so you could just be crazy. But of course the gold, like that's really popular with the with those sort of marble effects or whatever. Having those peaks of gold into that marble looks very cool. And then the last thing that I did with this one was I took the Amethyst 10 layer style and I took brush 23 and just added some of that, but it really added a nice touch and I really filled it in. But you can see that layer style there. If I turn that off, that's the color. So there's that brush, in that color, but I add that layer style there and it just adds a little bit something different, a little something different. Let me zoom out just a little bit. So that's with that amethyst layer style applied, but I could turn it off and there you can see it without, which is quite cool as well. It gives it a soft sort of effect. But I just liked adding to that amethyst and I thought it added to that cool textural effect. Hey Antonio, glad to see you. Hola, hola. Estamos muy felices, jugando un poquito, mezclando todos. Yeah, estoy muy feliz. Now this one is my Ruby demo and I'm really annoyed that I did not write down all these brushes. So I might have to go and hunt these up. But this one, let's just zoom in and look at, let's put it at 50%. Just look at this detail here. I think it's stunning. I think this is really neat. Loved how this turned out. So what I used was these brushes and I used some of my Celestial Gold Mine layer styles in the ruby and then in the gold. And I actually used a galaxy brush right here for these strong bits. So that's a nice little mashup. Rhoda, I think that, you're totally correct. And here you could even use you could have used the galaxy color palettes with something like this. I think it's very nebulous in that crossover between stone and what have you. But this is just, gosh, I want to say it's probably like 4 layers. So I'm just going to flip them back here and show what I did. So that was the main one. So it's just real easy here. So this was, I added one of my Celeste, this is one of the brushes. I'm like, at this point, Lord knows what it is, but it's one of them. Right, Patrick? It does look like, seriously, it's like the universe, the, like just freaking the whatever. Um, all that. But what's cool is because of this, like the transparency and like the flow, like I guess it's the transparency in these brushes. You can, once I apply that gold layer style, it just really emphasizes the depth of those brush strokes. So this was what I started with. And then what I did was I added another brush stroke here so you can see it in blue, but I just added my one of my ruby layer styles from the Celestial Goldmine collection. And here you can see that, that nice ruby effect, that already crystal sort of thing that you're not going to get if you just drew that brush stroke, that marble brush stroke in the multicolor ruby palette. So those layer styles are really something a little extra. And so we've got that. And then underneath both those layers is where I added those splatters of gold. So this is one of my Celestial Goldmine gold layer styles, but I did use the brush from the Galaxy collection, and I can even show you. I want to say it is, oh Lord, dropping my tablet, my pen, because this is one of my favorite ones. No, not 19. Let's see here. Oh, I think it's 22. There it is. But it's just got all those things that are going on it. So that's the brush that I actually used, is brush 22. And I used it underneath those. And that's how you get all those beautiful gold things happening. And then underneath all of that, I just added, using a soft brush, and I actually think I used a soft brush from one of my oh gosh, the Jewel Brush Builders collection, but really you could just use a soft brush from this collection. And I used a different ruby, just adding a little bit there, but it just absolutely, behind that gold, behind everything, just makes it look like it glows. So, you can zoom in here. Let's get it like 100%. And maybe it's not the best at 100. But just get that glowing sort of effect. And I think that, and here you can see it, but I love that different color of ruby. Just looks super organic, super wild. So that is what we got going on today. And I am just brain dead from rushing through this today, but I'm super happy. Like sometimes I like to put myself a little bit of a deadline because otherwise I would never get things done. Oh, let me just check. I don't think I have anything on my YouTube chat. Okay. But I need to put myself a little bit of a deadline because yeah, we'll just let things go forever or go, oh, I'll release this next week or whatever. But I really got on the flow with these brushes. I'm really excited to drop them on you. My subscribers, download them now. And if you're not a subscriber, just so you know, gotta like do my little sales pitch a little bit. You can subscribe for $10 a month, cancel anytime. And you can get, early access brushes, huge library of tutorial toolkits, just all kinds of stuff, all kinds of things that are not available on my website. So anyway, you can subscribe on Behance and just instantly download these brushes. So I will love to see what you guys make with them. I will love to, so feel free to share them in the Facebook group or on social media, tag me. Yeah, I just wanted to put them in your hands and kind of in my haphazard way show you guys a little bit what I was doing with them. And then I can't wait to see what you guys will do with them. And thanks for everybody who tuned in today. Even I was a little bit got off to a spuddy start, but yeah, I just wanted to get these out today, and then I'll be putting them available for public sale, as soon as I can. But that takes more work. I've got to make display images, make sure everything's perfect, so, whatever. But I can't, just message me and want to see what you guys make. And yeah, what else? That's pretty it. So I'm gonna bounce off and stop running my mouth and chill out because here it is 10:13 p.m. So I'm doing these a little bit late so that I can catch y'all in the US. But sometimes my brain isn't working the best. Anyway, thank you so much, Linda. Thanks for everybody hanging in there. And Patrick and Rhoda and Sherry and Alex and David and who else? Anybody else that I missed? Cool. Well, go forth and happy creating, guys. I will be online tomorrow. I am guessing. Just check my site, but sometimes I do move sometimes I do move the time and everything. But 9 o'clock, or wait, like 2 p.m. has been a pretty popular time. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, and maybe I will be getting you guys out a what do you call it, a brush chart ASAP. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.